A Chilean-American journalist who's been covering the conflict from inside Ukraine has reportedly gone missing in the city of Kharkov. Fellow reporters now fear for his life, saying Gonzalo Lira has been out of contact since last Friday.
Extremely troubling that Gonzalo Lira, a U.S. citizen in Ukraine, has disappeared from social media. He was scheduled to interview me last Friday about Zelensky's SBU kidnapping and assassinating dissidents, and now I fear he has become its latest victim.
If Gonzalo Lira has indeed been disappeared by Ukraine's SBU, he joins a long list of dissidents, leftists, human rights activists, and local officials kidnapped, tortured and even assassinated by Zelensky's death squads, and with Kiev's open support.
Meanwhile, one of Ukraine's nationalist leaders has posted a series of tweets in his private account, mockingly claiming the journalist might have been abducted and killed by, quote, some guy with the call sign Chile. In other posts, he shows us a photo of neo-Nazi fighters, again hinting they might be the ones behind the reporter's disappearance and even applauding the prospects of the journalist being dead. The radical Ukrainian commander hasn't provided any evidence, though, so the information cannot be immediately verified. Gonzalo Lira is 54 years old and has been living in Ukraine for the past few years. He was in Kiev when the conflict erupted in February and then travelled to Kharkov to cover the fighting there. He has repeatedly criticised the Ukrainian government and armed forces for their actions. At the end of March, he tweeted that he called the truth about Zelensky's regime, adding he might disappear, as did other critics of Kiev, some of whom were later found dead. Here's one of Gonzalo Lira's latest interviews before he went missing.
NATO never allowed Ukraine to join formally, but informally. They established training bases, especially in Western Ukraine, and they trained all of the Ukraine military in NATO tactics, NATO communications methods. So in a very real sense, the Ukraine armed forces were NATO, but they also integrated these neo-Nazi hyper-nationalist elements, not just into the armed forces, by the way, also into the government itself. And these neo-Nazi, extreme nationalist, extreme Ukrainian nationalist elements started to poison the well. All of a sudden, the Ukrainian state became radically anti-Russian. And this expressed itself in the government itself and also in its armed forces. There was constant shelling of the Donbass region, of the breakaway republics of Lugansk and Donetsk. And over the years, well, about 16,000 people were killed there, needlessly. And it was really because of the aggression of the Ukraine regime, which never wanted to negotiate with the people of the breakaway republics and pushed forward this extreme, radical Ukrainian nationalism.
Well, we've requested an update on the journalist's status and location from the Chilean Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the US Department of State, since Gonzalo Lira holds a dual citizenship. So far, there's been no response, but we'll keep you posted on that.
No one's watching. No one's watching, man. Oh no, here's some people. Okay,
well, it doesn't matter. Just the recording is going to be.
Yeah, we're recording. Look, Gonzalo, I'll give you 5 minutes.
Yeah,
let me put you on.
Lira. It's what is it? Friday, April 20th. Friday already. Yeah, April 22nd, 2022. I'm in Kharkov. I'm okay. I just want to say that I'm back online, and I'm here with Alex Christoforou, and I just want to say that I'm fine physically. I'm a little rattled. I was picked up by the SBU on Friday, April 15th at a little after 1 p.m. local time. I'm okay physically. I'm a little rattled. There seems to have been like a lot of interest in my case, which is wonderful. Thank you. But there are a lot of other people who are frankly more deserving of the attention. I've highlighted them in my Twitter feed, the real Gonzalo Lira. Those people matter more because we don't know where some of them are. Some of them have passed away, but well, some of them were killed. But the other ones, we don't know where they are. And so they matter more. I'm okay. I don't have my computer and I don't have my phone. And so anything that was published or posted on the Gonzalo Lira YouTube channel, the Coach Red Pill YouTube channel, the real Gonzalo Lira Twitter feed, and the real CRP Telegram feed after April 15th just discount it because it was not me. I did not have access to those accounts, and I still don't, for that matter. And I don't have my cell phone or access to my email accounts. I created a new one, and that's how I got in touch with Alex. And I've been in touch with, of course, I reached out to my family members, the people close to me, and I'm telling them that I'm okay. In some cases, I'm waiting for their reply because it's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning over there. I'm okay. Physically, I'm okay. I don't have anything that I can say publicly other than I'm okay. And thank you for the concern, because I've been checking out on internet some of the stuff that is being said about me, and I appreciate so much the kind wishes and all the thoughtfulness of so many people, and I very much appreciate it. But I'm still in Kharkov, and for the time being, I cannot leave. The authority here has told me that I cannot leave the city, and but I'm okay, and none the worse for wear, and I'm rambling, and I'm sorry about that. I'm a little bit discombobulated, as you can imagine, but I will come up with something clever to say. So I'm going to end here. Alex, thank you so much, and just cut it out now, because I'm just. Thank you.
Hey guys, Clayton here. Welcome into Redacted. I wanted to give you an update on a story we've been covering here on the Redacted show over the past week and a half or so, and that is the missing journalist, Gonzalo Lira, the Chilean journalist. He's also an American citizen who is in Kharkov in Ukraine, who has been covering a lot of the corruption of the Zelensky regime, stories that you're not going to hear in the Western media, largely silenced by the Western media. And these stories are absolutely important. For instance, Gonzalo was one of the first people to report that the Zelensky government was, before the war broke out, was arming convicted criminals, letting them out of prison and arming them with heavy weapons. The reporting, of course, unfolded before the Russians even came there. They were going street by street by street, rounding up other gangs, rival gangs, and shooting them, killing them. This was all reported by Gonzalo Lira and confirmed by other journalists in Ukraine, again, silenced by the mainstream media. Last Friday, he went missing. We've been covering it here on the show. We do have some good news today, some wonderful news, and that is that Gonzalo Lira is alive. And just a short time ago, rather just like a few minutes ago, managed to speak to Alex Christoforou on his show. He had his computer taken, his phone taken, and managed to get a message out to Alex, and so they were able to broadcast this message, because there are a couple of things that stand out to me as very odd. Now, he admits that he was captured, he was taken, no, he says he was picked up by the Ukrainian security forces, the SBU, the intelligence and security forces of Ukraine. He was picked up, and then had his electronic devices taken from him, gone, missing. I'm not allowed to leave. I'm not allowed to talk publicly about what happened, other than to say I'm alive. They picked me up. Let's talk about the other people. So Gonzalo, I know you've watched this show. Please reach out to me. We would love to have you here on the show. You can reach out to me on Twitter. I'm Clayton Morris on Twitter. We would love to have you here on the show to tell your side of the story when you're allowed to speak more freely, or even now if you're able to, within a confined space, speak about the story. But good news, really good news, that Gonzalo Lira is safe. He is in Kharkov. We'll see if he's going to be able to report on anything that's unfolding in that region at all. Obviously, all focus right now in that region. So it's going to be really sad that we're not going to get an independent voice of what's unfolding in Ukraine. We're only going to get spoon-fed media coverage from the United States and Western media, unfortunately. But I really want to know what the Ukrainian security forces had to say in the week that they held him and took over his accounts, took his computer, took his phone, and held him against his will, and are keeping him from leaving. Where is the U.S. State Department on this? Where is the Chilean government on this? Where is the Western media coverage of this, for crying out loud? This is an outrage. This is an absolute fucking outrage. And we should all be pissed about this.